Good evening and welcome to Hearts Live. Twice a week we'll be bringing you the lowdown on all things maroon. We'll bring you all the action, interviews and give you the chance to win tickets to see your team. So if you're a Jambo, don't go anywhere for the next 30 minutes. Jim Hamilton secures a precious point against Dunfermline. We preview the game against Motherwell. And we speak to Hearts diehard Gary Locke. Well, joining me tonight is the man who likes the club so much he's been here twice. That is, of course, Dave McPherson. We'll hear from Dave in a moment, but first to yesterday's action in the game against Dunfermline at East End Park. Last season, Hearts won the honours 3-1, but the Hearts side were still struggling with injuries, although Stevie Fulton made a welcomed return. Yesterday's game at East End Park was an important one, with Dunfermline only 1 point behind Hearts in the league. Jim Jeffries' squad were hit by yet more injuries, with both Dave McPherson and Gary Locke unavailable through injury after last Wednesday's tie against Real Mallorca. Once the game kicked off, there was no doubt that Dunfermline were up for it, and within minutes Jerry Britton came out best over Fulton. Britton passed Andy Smith, but it just passed the post. It was after 11 minutes when Greg Shields crossed to Andy Smith, and with a fantastic header he managed to put the ball right into the net. Minutes later, Scott Thompson crossed to Huxford, who had the chance for a drive, but unfortunately for Peyton's Pars it hit the left-hand post. Britton passed to Thompson, and with a right foot jive the ball flew off the bar. After so many chances, Dunfermline were still going for it just before half-time, and minutes later Britton passed to Shields, whose cross yet again hit off the top of the bar. The Pars came out fighting again in the second half, and McCulloch went on a super run, only to be stopped by yet another brilliant save from Gilles Rousset. But Hearts were a totally different side in the second half, and Adam got it 100% right when he passed to Jim Hamilton, making the score 1-1, and Butler couldn't stop it. Dunfermline managed one more chance in the second half when Shields crossed to Richard Huxford, whose magnificent shot hit the top corner of the bar. For both sides, it really was a game of two halves, Dunfermline being the strongest in the first 45 minutes and Hearts coming out fighting after the break. Jim Jeffries will be hoping for a performance like the second half when they face Motherwell on Wednesday night. The final score, Hearts 1, Dunfermline 1. Well, Hearts didn't manage to get all 3 points, but it was to prove a spirited team performance which secured a point, and Jim Jeffries was a much encouraged manager after the game.
Again, it's that wee bit lack of confidence, not doing the things that we were doing last year, particularly when I said to Stefan Adam at half time, you know, he got opportunities to get in behind, and when the ball was played through, his first thought was to take a touch and come back out of it. And last year he was hitting the byline and getting in behind them, and either playing balls across the face of the goals or getting us corners. And you know, you can see the difference in the man in the second half. He was making great runs, he was causing them all sorts of problems, but when he was getting in there, he was very direct, and one led to the goal, and he got 2 or 3 opportunities which they scrambled away for corners. So I think we're much better all round the second half. It was much more like the Hearts we know.
Well, we hit the post and we hit the bar, and there were 1 or 2 other good chances, but you've got to take them. I've said before the game we've not been scoring a lot of goals, and it was the same today. Although I thought Andy Smith played really well the first half, 1 or 2 of the defenders played exceptionally well, but in the second half it was very disappointing.
It's one of the things when your confidence goes, you've just got to pick yourself up, not feel sorry for yourself, and grind out and do that wee bit more. So the character of the side shone through the second half, and hopefully that will give them the wee boost that they need to take it into the next game.
Well, only 1 point, Dave, but it was a precious one.
It was a good point at the end of the day. We were quite fortunate. They hit the post and hit the bar and had a number of chances. So I think over the piece we've got to be quite happy with our point. But
Dunfermline did have their fair share of chances as well.
They certainly did. Huxford had a great effort and hit the bar in the first half, and they hit the post and scrambled across the line. We came into the game in the second half and created a lot more chances, which is good for us going into the game on Wednesday.
Okay, well we can take a look at Dunfermline's goal at the moment. We see here Shields past Andy Smith and just right in, Dave.
Yeah, well, Shields was getting behind us in the first half quite a lot, and they're a big physical side, and you get the ball in the air, get the ball in the box to Andy Smith, and he's deadly at that. A great finish.
Now also Jim Hamilton got your goal in the second half, brought Hearts back into the game.
Well, it's the first time we actually got behind them. As the manager said there, Stefan Adam made a lot more positive runs, and Jim's clinical in that situation, and it was a great finish with his left peg.
Hamilton did well because he did have another chance, as we can see in a minute, but he had one chance later in the second half again. You can see Naismith's passed to him now.
Well, Gary Naismith as well got forward a lot more, which I think with my playing, the sort of system I'm playing, we need the full-backs to get forward and support the midfield players and the forward players, and Gary certainly did that in the second half, and Hammy was quite unlucky there not to score.
How difficult was the game? I mean, how did you view it? Obviously you weren't playing yesterday.
I think any time Hearts go to Dunfermline, it's always a difficult match. It's a derby match. That's the way their fans and their players treat it. And they are a big physical side, and they battle away for everything. And they've proved it over the past few seasons that they've survived.
And how are you feeling after Thursday night? You feeling all right?
I was quite stiff in Friday morning and Saturday morning, but certainly feeling a lot better now. It's my first game since the cup final, and I've not managed to do a full pre-season yet, but I'm feeling okay.
But you did well and you lasted the 90 minutes.
I did well. I actually surprised myself, and the manager said before the game, you know, I thought he was actually going to put me on the bench, but he said, "How do you feel about playing?" It's a big European tie, and certainly the adrenaline gets you through the game.
Excellent. Well, we can take a look at the league table now. What do you think of Hearts' position at the moment? I mean, it is tight at the top if you look at the points.
Well, it's ideally suited there at the moment. You know, we're not far off the lead, 3 points off the lead, and we've not played well yet. So it's exciting times for Hearts yet to come, I think. I think a big game on Wednesday at Motherwell at home, and if we can manage to get 3 points there, that'll take us to the top.
OK, Dave, thanks for that for the moment. Well, on Wednesday night, Hearts do play Motherwell, as Dave just said, and we have 2 tickets to give away for that game. All you have to do to win them is tell us what is the name of the ground that Motherwell play at. We're teasing you tonight. If you know that answer, then phone us now on 01316 622 1818. That number again, 01316 622 1818. Well, now it seems to be that there's no respite for Jim Jeffries and his boys, having played Mallorca on Thursday night and Dunfermline yesterday. They now face Motherwell on Wednesday night, who are currently sitting 2 places and 1 point above them in the Premier Division. Hearts Live reporter Veronica Cleary caught up with the Steelmen boss Harry Campman.
Hearts are at home at Tynecastle and paying host to the Steelmen of Lanarkshire's Motherwell on Wednesday night.
2 minutes.
The Fir Park Club are in the process of reinventing themselves, with entrepreneur John Boyle at the helm and bringing with him copious amounts of energy and freshness.
At the moment we have a fresh air in the club, and players they like to work hard in the training and on the field as well. So feelings are quite good and positive.
This year's season has got off to a positive start, with Motherwell equal in points alongside Celtic and Kilmarnock and just 2 points behind Rangers. A win on Wednesday night could put them on top. This is a changed side who last year got caught in a relegation dogfight alongside Aberdeen and Hibs. Harry Campman came to the club after Alex McLeish was lured to the Easter Road club, who were then relegated 2 weeks before the end of the season. So far so good for the boys from Fir Park.
Our start has been quite good, but there is a long way to go, so just think about how we have to play in the next game.
And their next game is, of course, against Hearts, and in recent times the record hasn't been good. Taking a look at last year's results, October the 4th saw Hearts travel to Lanarkshire in a game that would show the real spark of the Jambos and their persistent challenge to the old firm. Hearts gubbed Motherwell 4-1. Then it was Motherwell to Tynecastle in December, pouring season's greetings on their heads with a 2-0 victory. Hearts kept the momentum going and capitalising on the confusion at Fir Park in February on one of the first of Campman's matches. Hearts poured insult to injury with a 4-2 victory on Fir Park turf. It was just before the end of the season, when Hearts ran out of steam, that Motherwell held the Jambos to a 1-1 draw at Tynecastle. So can Harry Campman reverse this trend?
Hearts is a very, very good side, and at the moment they have played many games, very, very hard games. But still, I'm expecting a really tough and hard game. They have a good shape, players work very hard, and they play very attractive football. But if my players have good confidence and we have a good discipline in defending, so we have chance to win.
Support is always vital at Tynecastle. John Boyle has reduced gate prices to get more people involved with the club. Will he be doing something special to get fans to travel to Tynecastle?
When new directors come, new people comes into the club, they have fresh and new ideas. So happened it here as well, and let's see what they can do for next Wednesday.
So we'll just have to wait and see what he means by that. Asked if he thought Scottish football was moving into a more competitive era with a new Scottish Premier League, happy camper Harry finds it all very intriguing.
I think that the Scottish League has always been very interesting, but at the moment a lot of things happen in England. TV is coming and bringing new supporters, and Manchester United changed the owners, and these kind of things could happen here in Scotland. So football is very interesting at the moment.
Well, just to let you know, our phone lines are red hot at the moment, and if you do want to win those tickets for the Motherwell game, that's on Wednesday, then call the number that's on your screens now. That's 622 1818. Well, Dave, we just saw Harry Campton talking about Motherwell. They do seem to be working well as a team at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, it's a completely different team this season, and Harry Campton has got them working well for each other, which I'm not surprised. We managed to get 11 points out of 12 last season against them, but I think it'll be even more difficult this season, especially the way we've started. But hopefully on Wednesday night we can get a result.
Do you think that you'd settle for 3 out of 4 wins this season?
I think you would. I think 3 out of 4 wins against any team in the Premier League is good going. Certainly what you don't want to do is lose the first game of the season against any of the teams you play.
Now, who would you see as the danger men in the Motherwell squad just now?
I see he's been one of the Scottish players, Owen Coyle. He's deadly in the box. He's scored a lot of goals throughout his career, and he's proven that at the moment he can still score goals for Motherwell.
Now, Brian McClare and Owen Coyle do seem to be teaming up pretty well at the moment, pardon the pun.
Well, Brian McClare's got great experience through his career as well, down at Manchester, playing at Celtic. He's a top quality goal scorer as well. Maybe he lacks that wee bit of pace nowadays as players get old. I certainly realise that. But he can still tuck them away, and he'll prove a good acquisition for Motherwell this season.
Do you think it's difficult for you guys at the moment because you've got so many games? I mean, as I just said, you know, you had the game on Saturday, you had the Mallorca game last week. Do you think that's taken its toll? Because you do have certainly lots of injuries just now.
I think last season we were used to playing in the Premier League and playing a certain style, but this season so far we've had to adapt just that little bit for the European ties. And I think that's beginning to catch up. We're still relatively inexperienced as a squad, and a lot of young players in the park, but they're certainly learning from it. And we seem to have a wee bit of after effects from European ties. Once we get over that, then you'll see the real hearts coming through.
Okay, Dave, thanks for that. Well, it's time now for me and Dave to have our half-time team talk, but be sure to join us in the second half when Gary Locke reminisces about his time at Hearts and we speak to the fans who travel all the way from Manchester.
After the break, the fans who ignore Man United to travel north to watch the Scottish Cup champions.
Excuse me, ladies, BB soda, it's a new natural... Excuse me, sir, this BB soda, it's... Excuse me, sir, this BB soda, it's brewed and it's an all-natural brewed soda. Launching it here in England. It's got no alcohol, sir. It's all natural. If you were to advertise it in England, good luck, sir. Sir, I'd like you to try some BB soda.
Sample the true atmosphere of Italy at Da Vinci's with the finest in hotel accommodation, nightlife and Italian dining. Lunch in our Roman-themed bar or dine in our a la carte restaurant where you can choose from 3-course lunches or our early evening menu, only $6.95. Party with live entertainment and music or relax with cocktails, fine wines, beers or a cappuccino. Why go anywhere else when it's all under one roof at Da Vinci's?
If you're in a hurry to cash a cheque and don't have or don't want to use your bank account, then Edinburgh's Capital Cheques can offer you the chance to cash your cheque. Just bring 3 pieces of identification, like a driver's licence, passport, and a bill from your address. For more information, call Capital Cheques now on 652 2091.
penny wise. Call Penny Cabs now on 01236 770088 with a courier service. Private, executive and wedding hire available for the Airdrie, Coatbridge and Cumbernauld areas. Penny Cabs will get you to your destination every time. Costs are kept low with no boundary charges, no extra after midnight charges and no meters. Call Penny Cabs now on 01236 770088.
Coming up, we unlock Gary on all things Hearts.
It was great, we won the cup, and then obviously the Sunday here was tremendous. The scenes round about Edinburgh were fantastic.
Welcome back. Well, Dave and I have had our pies and bovril, so let's kick off the second half. Well, one player you can truly say is a true Jambo is Gary Locke. If not on the bench, then he's almost certainly on the terracing. Gary spoke to me about the passion and pride he has for his beloved club.
Here we go again.
It's every young Jambo's dream to walk onto the pitch at Tynecastle as a player, and for Gary Locke that dream came true. The Hearts captain joined the Tynecastle club in July of 1992 and was delighted to sign for the club he supported.
Oh, it was great. It was Sandy Clark actually gave me the chance at St Johnstone, and although we got beat 3-1, it was the best day of my life because it's something growing up everybody wants to do is play for the team that you support, so I've been one of the lucky ones.
Gary used to go to Tynecastle with his dad and he saw his first Hearts match at the age of 2. After signing for the club, he says walking out of the tunnel for the first time was an amazing experience.
But it was great. I mean, I knew where my dad was sitting that day, and it was a proud moment for myself, my mum, my dad, and my twin brother Kevin, my little brother Jamie, who are all Hearts fanatics as well. And as I say, it's a day that I'll live in my memory for the rest of my life.
Another moment that Gary Locke will never forget was the day he was made captain. This was a period of time when he was the happiest man alive.
That was another big day in my career so far. It was sort of Friday afternoon, the manager pulled me into his office and I actually thought I'd done something wrong. He says, "What do you think you got you in here for?" And I couldn't put my finger on it, and he told me he was going to make me captain against Partick Thistle here. And the day that I led the side, it was a great day, and obviously the result that day, 3-0, was a great result for us as well.
As captain, the relationship with Jim Jeffries has to be strong, but Gary finds he also gets help from the rest of the team.
Although you've got to speak up a wee bit more, with being a young lad in that, I get a lot of help from the older players in the side, such as Davy Weir, Stevie Fulton, and obviously Gary Mackay, John Robertson and that when they were here. So I don't look at it any different. It's a great honour to lead such a big club onto the field on a Saturday, but once we got on there, everybody does their fair share of shouting. It's just like when things are going against us, I try and lift the side that wee bit more, but it's a big thrill for me to lead out Hearts every Saturday, and I'm just going to enjoy it where I can.
When asking a Hearts player to recall the best moment they've had at Hearts, you'll find that almost all of them will say one particular day from last season.
Although I didn't play, it was a great day because it's something that as a fan I've wanted to see for so long. I've watched Hearts for years and never seen them win anything apart from the 10 at 6s. So it was a great day for everybody concerned. It was a really special day for myself as well, with Stevie letting me go up to lift the cup. And it's a day that I can look back on and obviously feel really happy about it.
Gary Locke has made 133 appearances for Hearts, and in every game he shows great tackling skills and superb passing. Team spirit is one of the most obvious things that holds Hearts' side together, and that's where Gary Locke sees the team's strength lie.
It's a great team spirit here, and I think all the guys are about the same age, so it definitely helps. And even when we do go out, maybe Saturday nights, although we've not really had the chance this season, but when we do go out on Saturdays, a lot of the boys like to go out together. And I think that definitely helps when you go over a white line on a Saturday. Everybody likes to work hard for each other, and the more that we can do that, I think the better we'll become.
Do you think Gary forgot about you when he said the same age?
I'm delighted that Gary thinks I'm the same age as him.
Well, Dave, you know as a colleague, you know Gary Locke better than most. I mean, he is extremely passionate about Hearts, as we just heard, isn't he?
Yeah, it shows great enthusiasm for the club and the players altogether. And sometimes that enthusiasm gets him injured. You know, he tries to be a bit too hard on a Saturday, and that's proved costly to him.
Now, what do you think his greatest strengths as a player are?
I think his all-round ability, he's got a great touch, great pass on the ball, and his work rate is tremendous. I don't think we've actually seen the best of Gary Locke because he has been injured. He picked up a serious knee injury and that put him out of the game for more or less a year. But I think once he settles down and gets to his natural position, which I think is full-back, then you'll see the best of Gary Locke.
Yeah, but I mean, he obviously does, as you just said, have huge potential. Do you think Hearts will be able to hold on to him?
Well, I don't think there's any way that Gary Locke will want to leave Hearts, and I think they'll certainly keep a hold of him. He's certainly a player that if I was manager, I'd want to keep him hold of.
How difficult do you think it was, because you did mention his injury, for him to sit out the cup final? I mean, he'd been a fan, and as we heard, he'd gone since the age of 2.
Yeah, it was good to see him. Stevie let him go up and lift the cup, but I think more than anything, Gary would want to be in the park playing. But he's a young lad, and he's got his full career in front of him. And I'm sure if Gary keeps improving the way he is improving, that he will lift the cup for Hearts one day and play in the park.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot here. Now you've skippered, he's skippered. Who do you think is the best?
Well, by far it's me. I think I've won more games than Gary, so I've got to say it's me. But I'm sure that Gary will soon take over that man.
Do you think he's an inspirational captain? I mean, does he help the team, lift the team?
I think every club needs a sort of Gary Locke about the place. You know, he knows what Hearts is all about. He knows the tradition of the club, and he gets the players going. Not even on the park, off the park. Monday to Friday, he manages to get the players going. You know, and he shows us what it's all about.
And perhaps on Saturday nights as well, he maybe lifts the players as well. But we won't talk about that. Well, it's not unusual to hear of Hearts fans travelling from Glasgow to see Hearts play, but Manchester, well, that's the case because every week a busload of Mancunians make their way north to cheer on their heroes. Veronica Cleary found out more.
Last year, Hearts' success could also be attributed to the staunch support they enjoy. To be a Hearts fan, a stout heart is necessary. Over the years, Hearts fans experienced disappointment after disappointment, but last year the pain was healed and the fans had really something to celebrate. But not all the fans are from the Lothians. Stanley Swift, on the first day of the season, travelled nearly 200 miles to see the team he loves, and he does this quite often.
I've come especially to watch my favourite team out of Midlothian. I've supported them since I was a small boy, 12-year-old in fact.
And how many times did you come up to?
Well, I came roughly about 17 or 18 times. I went to quite a few away matches as well. I went to Celtic Park and then I came back here at night and I watched them bring the cup back to Tynecastle and I left for home about 9:15.
He's not alone in his travels to Scotland to see his favourite club. Down in Manchester, a legion of fans have formed Manchester Hearts, who travel to most of the Hearts games. And in the first game of this season, over 270 Manchester Hearts fans travelled to Tynecastle rather than going to Old Trafford.
Well, I wouldn't support Manchester United. I never support Manchester United. I was born in Liverpool, so I couldn't support Manchester United. But I support Hearts, I suppose, because I've come up here for after a while, and I just got friendly with a lot of people around here, and they're just such a friendly club and it's a lovely club.
Why do you make all this travelling?
Because it's worthwhile. You do these sort of things to see the best team in the land.
Oh, what a compliment, Dave. But does it still amaze you after all this time to see the bizarre places that the fans do travel from?
Well, it's funny you're showing that at the moment. After the game on Thursday, I went across to Rose Bar for a quick drink after the game, and I met 3 supporters who actually travelled from Switzerland.
Really?
2 from Zurich and 1 from Bern. So it does amaze you that fans do travel that sort of distance to come and watch the team.
How does it feel to know that fans are travelling from so far? It must lift the team a lot.
Well, it just shows you that the Hearts name is known worldwide. Now, I've played at Rangers, quite fortunate to go on a world tour, and every country stopped that. There was Hearts, Rangers supporters there, and also Hearts supporters, believe it or not.
My goodness. I mean, you obviously go to supporters' nights as a player. I mean, you must have some funny stories from those nights. It must be quite amazing to go and see how
Well,
many
probably
supporters.
one that I can remember most of all when I got a new car, and this guy was at Hearts for ages to get come down, bring a few of the players down. So we got 3 or 4 players in the car, took the car down into the supporters club, brand new car. I have to tell you, come back outside and the car was stolen.
No, you're joking.
So I wouldn't say that was funny, but I managed to find my car the next morning, and just the stereo was stolen, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh my goodness. Well, not quite a good story from the supporter
not
club.
at all.
You've got some happy ones. But what would your hope be for the fans this year?
To follow on from last season, which I think is going to be difficult. We've had a lot of injuries and a lot of games at the start of the season, but if we can show a wee bit more consistency in what we're doing at the moment, and hopefully get to the League Cup final, then can lift another trophy and show the
finally,
fans.
Dave, when your career finishes, can you see yourself sitting in the terraces?
Well, my son's ardent Heart supporter at the moment. I'm sure I can be taking him along to the games.
Okay, Dave, thanks for joining me tonight. Well, just to let you know, the answer to the question, if you didn't already know it, was Fir Park. You can see it on your screen now. And the winner, the lucky winner for those 2 tickets for the Motherwell game is Jonathan Miller. He's 8 3/4 from Babberton Main in Edinburgh. So well done, Jonathan. You'll get your tickets to you. Well, that's it for tonight, but be sure to join me on Friday night at 6:30. We'll be previewing Hearts' first encounter of the season with Celtic, along with all the usual features. In the meantime, thanks to Dave for being my guest, as I already said. And if you want to get to the heart of Tynecastle, then keep it with Hearts Live.
This is my story, this is my song. Follow the Hearts and you can go wrong. No, some say the Rangers and Celtic are grand,